Haldo. So,
What about my favorite Star Wars character? No, it's Holdo. Never mind. Sorry. Continue.
Hol? I thought that you were doing a long stretch to Watto, and I'm like... Then I forgot Holdo existed. How dare I? He's like one of the best Star Wars
I'm sorry to have ruined
characters.
that for you.
Holdo is genuinely a good dude. As a character.
Holdo
not a good dude, but like a good character.
A lady, is she not?
I thought Holdo was the Pirate King.
No, Holdo is the spaceship general lady who like flies the ship into the other ship.
Oh! Who the fuck is the Pirate King?
I don't know. I'm so sorry. Continue.
All you sad now.
He's a Weequay. Which is a good alien name. So, Lord Copperbeard asks for your presence.
We have nothing to give him. Sorry.
Just stupid enough.
I really hope you say that in character.
Oh, I've got something to give him, all right. It's a gnome in a bag.
Oh! You do have something to give him.
If you know what I mean.
Bagged the gnome last night?
Yeah.
That would be really good if you had a really short significant other.
Before we go, with Lord Copperbeard, I would like to have like retcon a little bit and see like what that powder was, if I can identify what it is or what it does.
Yeah, you can give me an Arcana check.
Oh my god, good, it's Arcana.
It's glowing. It's definitely magical.
Yes.
Easy shorthand. It's definitely magical. Not like any magic you've really seen before.
If I ate it, would it hurt me?
Oh, it does see. It's definitely intended for consumption.
All right.
If it's poisonous, I can cure you if you want to just give it a snort.
I wanna lick it a little bit, but I won't. Maybe I should ask your gnome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I actually forgot about him, so I guess he's still tied up in that bag.
Yes.
He is still tied up in the bag, correct?
Yeah, well, he doesn't really have a choice.
Great, just making sure he didn't try to escape or anything. Maybe I guess he tried but wasn't successful.
Go over to Sidian once I wake up in the morning. I'm like, I found a little packet of glowing powder. Maybe your friend in the bag knows what it could be.
Perhaps. And I feel like at this point I'm still like just getting up from like my bedroll, and I just like reach behind my head and pull out the bag.
Just wiggling.
Yeah, he was just part of my pillow setup, and I just peel back the end of it so just his head is sticking out, and then just place him on the floor.
The Nora looks perfectly set up. Like
case.
This is when the priestess goes over and is like, Lord Copperbeard asks for your presence.
We'll talk to her in a second.
Okay, we can contend with this later, and I'll just roll the bag back over his head. It's nighttime. Go to sleep.
It's a chicken.
There are holding cells in this area too, because I totally meant to put him in one.
Oh, but you just didn't put him in one.
Yeah, I'll go put him in a holding cell.
Yeah, off to the side.
Although, yeah, I mean, do we have time to do that before we go visit Lord Copperbeard?
Let's assume you were nearby.
Okay.
Medical Bay definitely has holding cells.
I'll go place him in a holding
Typical
cell.
dwarven setup.
These are the metal priestesses.
Like, as much as I want to carry this guy around and just use him as like a pug in a crate that I can just open up and ask questions and then seal it back up and drop some food in there, like.
What the fuck is that reference?
Pops a treat.
Well, he's very pug-like. He's a small, like, ugly creature with big eyes bulging out of his head.
Well, yeah, I guess pugs are like as close to cats.
I saw a pug skull on Reddit yesterday, and it's terrifying. They're aliens.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And like, rest be assured, a gnome skull would be weird, because they're like, their heads are like squat and they got big eyes and like small mouths. So that would be weird.
That's kind of, yeah, that's where my head was at with that. Anyways, I'm gonna go pick him out of the bag, untie him, throw him in the holding cell.
You could have put him in the holding cell in the bag.
I thought about it, and then I was like, no, that's just cruel.
Okay.
Give us answers if we torture him.
Sidian is good boy.
I'm gonna put him in there.
For later.
Yeah, exactly. And then just close up the door and say, I will be back. Just later. And give him a little finger wag. Her a little finger wag. And then go meet up with everyone else. I guess we're going to see.
You can be the last to arrive.
Perfect.
Lord Copperbeard, shirtless and sweaty. Curly ginger chest hair, proudly on show. Mostly belly hair, let's be honest. He's got a good rug going. And he's like... Oh, it's all ginger. It's all coherent. He's clearly like propping himself up slightly when he's probably been told not to. And there is like one of the priestesses poking around because he's important, and if he has a quick turn, they need to like kind of help. Probably one with the most gentle bed manners, but even she is wiping blood off her hands with a cloth at the moment. And Lord Copperbeard gives you a kind of tired smile. He's like, you would be the friends that carried me out of that blasted frenzy in there. I believe my thanks are with you, and my life is with you as well, or was, during its most testing time.
Glad to see you're okay and that the antidote worked. That's fantastic. All that yelling was worth it.
I was told I was stuck with something particularly nasty, and like, kind of like touches the area at the back, which is still like scarred and stuff. Oh, absolutely, yeah, like nice and pussy.
Any dagger between the ribs is particularly nasty.
I have had my fair share of licks before, but nothing quite like this. But I won't say it's not the first time I've seen enemies like that. I have.
Just like that?
Aye, well, here's the thing. Priestesses say city's in fine position. Whoever these attackers were, going to destabilize. I think it was mostly on my life and the life of my son and the Lord of Reichdom. All out survive, all fine. A failed assassination attempt is the way of the dark depths below the world. Now, what I'm about to tell ye, can't go around telling everyone. There's some things, if everyone knew, they wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
Donaruvian's looking more housewifely than ever, just like gossip.
I literally live for this. Below our world, under the mountains and grasses and forests, he says, pointing to the wood elf in a slightly racist but also inclusive way. There's another world. A world under the world. This realm beneath this land, and there's people, creatures, cultures that live within it that have a hatred for us above. Don't rightly know the reason. I have tried to organize peace talks before, but getting down, damn near impossible. Unless you know how to do it. Getting up, maybe even harder. I don't know. But every connection between the above and below has been bloody and disastrous. There's rumors of the people below, and they have elves, and they have dwarves, the very ones that attacked. And they're working together to attack the top. There's a land, there's a fortress on the other side of the mountain, north, up where it snows. Gemtador. They were meant to be our first bastion. They had a fort that gazed down into the deep under the watchful eyes of their protectors. And they had been silent all winter. I was talking to my son about it before the meeting. He was worried. I was a fool, and I said not to worry. Sometimes in the winter, the couriers, the communications, they go dark. Winter is snows. I haven't heard from them since...
Can I ask, does, like, Donoruvian know anything about the Underdark or anything?
You got a history check lost.
Okay.
One, which basically confirmed the usurper elves are a fairy tale to elves.
Yes, that's exactly right.
You didn't know that there were more, but like there would be this, like in the fairy tale books, this like upside down city in this cave, and it would be very like.
I just love the idea of like the first reaction is just to be like, he's a mad dwarf. He's gone insane.
I don't know whether Donna actually has glasses or not, but you've been using them so often, she has to have glasses, even if they're just fashion rims at this point.
Don't have any lenses in them.
Well, that would be very elven,
Hipster
right?
glasses.
Elves don't sleep, and yet many of them have beds because it's fashionable right now. So having glasses without, like, prescription lenses would be very, like, elven hipster fashion.
Donoruvian is in the realm of, like, Tokyo fashion as it comes over, just like,
All right. So he's telling us that he told his son not to worry, and that was a big...
The day he was assassinated.
Yeah, don't worry, when in reality he should have had the big worry.
He
Because
should have had the
now
big worry.
There are usurper elves fucking rolling deep on Everhold.
Did I do a history check on the Underdark last session? I don't think
No, you already know quite a bit.
I did. Yeah.
You don't really need to do one.
We're doing history checks. Is that something I should roll?
You could totally do a history check.
I'm not even gonna pretend.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Zoe already did it, and Donikin, like, just doesn't fucking know.
It exists, maybe.
I believe, like, because you live in a keep close in the mountain. I think a lot of people, if they imagined the Underrealm, they might imagine, like, where you exist.
Yeah.
Which is deep in the mountain. And you would know that there are natural caves, and that there are creatures in the caves. And you gotta be careful and respectful about that. Like, that's actually a big thing of your religion. Even more than that, I mean, I don't know if that would be tantalizing to you. Maybe it would. Copperbeard does take that pause when you kind of like gossip and stuff, and kind of like he rolls back to like sit on the stone slab and put his head back and says, "There's no way they take Crimson Mountain with the force they just sent. No doubt there'll be more of them scurrying into the shadows to make more attacks in the future. Not a doubt. But Gemtador, I need to know what happened to it. They were the first protectors. There is a secret tunnel through the mountain that can take you there.
What proof do you have, dwarf?
Proof?
My lord.
Proof is that I'll tell you how to get there, and you'll go through it and see the sun on the other side." I need ye to do it. Oh, we can worry about what trinkets you can take from the treasury of my city when you get back with the information and security that either that fort still stands or doesn't. There is a tunnel.
Trinkets. It is actually interesting that they didn't use like invisibility to get in, so that's possibly why they got in. How?
Aye,
Wow.
we might find the very tunnel crawling with them.
I'd have said it sounded like tall tales, apart from the fact we just crushed a few of them.
You should rest yourself.
I'll rest when you're going through the tunnel to the mountain.
Yes! Lord!
Like
Chill.
Vilnora looks up at Donaruvian and go like, just in her mind, it's like, you're very lippy to a lord of, like
Only
a
young-
dwarven lord. She's just staring like, is everyone allowed to do that? She looks at everyone else going like, is that okay? Should you be dead?
In all complete contrast to that, Sidian will just give him like the dwarvish salute, like fist on the chest, armor, and just say, "You can rely on the order to help you in this endeavor."
I would be no good for any of the folk I care about if these, whatever they are, suddenly come crawling through and take over Crimson Mountain. I'll do it. Further than I've ever gone before, but
Be still, my heart.
One more step, Master Frodo.
Watching
It
Lord of the
is
Rings.
the
We're planning on doing
eastmost.
that. After the master's degree, the whole thing.
The whole thing? That's a good reward. Even the Hobbit?
Oh, maybe the fan edited 9-hour version, maybe.
I haven't seen
Is it
that,
9
but
hours?
I actually, you know,
What's this about brain features?
there's fun in the Hobbit movies. Fucking kill me. I like fantasy. There is fun in the Hobbit movies to be had.
The fantasy dies when you can see the hand of the
Yes! Totally. And in that way, I'm going to give you some exposition dialogue. It is the most eastern tunnel. All of the ones closed up. But the Flame Churls own that tunnel now to go to their hold. You'll have to talk your way past them, work your way past them. Whatever deal you make, doesn't matter, you need to get past them.
Do you have a seal?
Nothing I show you would be all that convincing to them. I'm not I'm not the lord of this mountain.
The flame what's?
Flame Churls! They make the
churl.
the
All the
boom
flame.
cannons.
I do think that, like, with new vigor, Donnarumma would just make that terrible joke.
You do that, and he just closes his eyes and leans his head and kind of just motions a hand like, you'll sort it out.
guess we need to go to his boy then if we want some clout around here. And stock up for a little trip as well. Need to get you some damn proper weaponry.
The young sprout didn't seem to have much clout.
Have you got a better damn idea? I don't know anyone else in this city who might be able to help.
Oh, Felok also was talking about the grim Gemtador. He just said that he asked about Gemtador yesterday.
Yeah, he knows the trouble at least. Sidian, you're from this city. You know anyone else who might be a better in?
Here's a question for you, Ollie. How far is it from here to Fort
Your
Home?
home? To, like, your home?
Yeah.
So, I imagine it's probably like a day's walk. But here's the thing. That is a dead fucking end. Like, in the other direction, essentially, as well. It's still in the same mountain, but, like, the other side, and it's a big mountain, and you're underground. So...
It'd be adding 2 days onto...
Yeah.
Any...
We can't go around the mountain. We must go over it. Sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, I would tell you
super
guys
help.
that. Yeah, they would help. My order would help, but it is an opposite direction.
I have contacts in the city. Maybe I could send a message to them. But my contacts probably won't have specific information about what we're currently doing.
Good as anything we've got, I guess. You do that. We try and talk to the boy.
Yeah.
We can talk to the gnome too.
The other thing that I could try to leverage, so here's the thing. Because of my background, I have the membership with the guild of gem cutters. And I imagine that my people would probably trade a lot with the gem cutters guild and stuff
100%.
here, like almost
Yeah.
exclusively. I could try
You could talk with them if you wanted.
talking with them.
All of these separate things are time. Just remember that. This is all time that you're going to be committing
Shall
to
we
any
split
of
up
these
and
endeavors.
look for clues, gang?
What information are we looking for?
You send your message. You contact your people. We question.
Well,
I
I
was
mean,
gonna say fuck face.
I don't think you can. Oh wait, no.
I was just looking for a way past the flame shells. Wasn't looking for information and maybe some gear to
Or
help us
maybe
through the mountain.
you talk to the Princeling.
Oh, that's gotta be a laugh, that.
I think we should possibly talk to the gnome. I'll send a message for reinforcement. Is that what we were looking for with the order?
Would that affect our time management very much? If
You can send message if you're willing to like give the message to a courier. Sending a message is easy. But what are you trying to achieve is the question. Like, do you want reinforcements to join you? Well, then you have to either wait for them or go ahead of them. Either option is fine, but that's time. But sending a message to someone is you write it, you give it to someone, you get it going.
So, in terms of what we actually need right now, what we need is some equipment for our fighter who has nothing but some dinnerware.
They've done pretty well though.
Yeah, which is true. Which I'm hoping we can probably get from the Lord, or at least he can like requisition that for us.
Dead
Like,
drow.
We need possibly like if we're going on a long trip to a potentially deadly place, we need some like if we get some healing or something, that would not be a terrible idea. We might even be able to get that from this temple.
Like some healing potions or scrolls or something that we can take with us.
The point, Shelby said very quietly. By the way, Shelby, you're a little quiet right now. I know it's 5 in the morning, but you need to project a little bit.
Dang it.
You said very quietly that there are dead drow with weapons for an elf.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
So
easy.
if you want to skip that step, you could pluck up the short swords and daggers they've been using.
And the other thing
Yeah.
is basically we could go straight to the flame shells. I mean none of our characters I think know like enough about the politics.
You haven't really so far, no. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can say dwarfs question the thing, and if there's anything significant that we need to know, they can send a message.
No, so we leave the gnome and basically
They
leave
can
it to the
question.
dwarves to question.
Yeah, I mean, leaving the gnome for the, like... Have you seen these holding cells? these priestesses are in for some information acquisitions. So, straight up, leaving that gnome here is, like, valuable to... If there's going to be a war effort, there's going to be something, you know.
Good.
That is a very sensible thing to do for the world, if you want to do that.
The other thing I'd like to do, which won't take up hardly any time at all, is basically just scribe a message to send back to my order to basically just inform them of what has happened and that they should send any and all available warriors and clerics to here and basically just prep for battle, and also where we're going and what we're doing.
That's easy and effortless. So,
Yeah.
Would it be like... Sorry.
Because you're doing the D&D thing of his 10,000 ideas, let me say what you've just done. You have scribed a message to Sidian's people, who live deep in the mountain, but not too deep, who are like a religious order. I imagine he would actually explain this to you, because you haven't really properly asked. But he's a warrior. They're like warrior priests as well. At the same time, Donaruvian, you could be going through these bodies that probably would be brought into, like, the side area of this temple, like an area that's not holy. And you can take a number of short swords and daggers if you wish from them. There were 4 of them here, 3 of them here. Each one had 1 of each. So if you want to take 3 of each, you can. We didn't have anything other than that, unless you want the war pick that the gnome had. To be fair,
and like any elf help would that be beneficial to the piece to send 1 or 2 elves to help too?
I mean, yes, but it's not like you have the level of clout to bring an army. So what you could maybe do is send a message to, like, some old friends to go, I was here and it was attacked. I would appreciate it if you came and, you know, kept an eye on the place. That's, like, I could see Donna doing that, you know, like, I would just be in battle and invigorating. There's this big long poem that ends with, come help, you know, like, that would be pretty cool. I think that would be fine. So you could scribe that message at the same time. So, with those things you have already done, what next?
Is
If
it
we
going
want
to
to
be a
talk to
long
the
way?
gnome.
Sorry.
I believe
Sorry,
the suggestion is kind of leave the gnome here so that the priestesses can interrogate them and information can be got. It's not like you need any of this.
Yeah, because I think most of the
because you
information we
just-
get from him anyways is going to be more relevant to the folks here than it is to, like, what we're doing, right? So
I was
that's
thinking,
probably
like,
fine.
how did you get here? Did you use the tunnels? That was going to be my question.
Yeah.
But if that's not relevant, then no. I would like to possibly scribe a message, and as we're going to the tunnels, drop it off to be sent. But
Yeah.
That's just for me.
Well, everyone...
I'll
Oh, so, okay, so that's a secret message? Sure.
Oh, it's not necessarily secret. I'm just.
I would like to know the message to the audience before us. What message are you writing?
I'm writing a message to my mum that that things got really scary and that there were usurper elves and that now I'm going to a gem Tador and that it's a little scary and I love you and I hopefully will be back soon. A couple of extra days.
Cool. Everyone's writing and
Really
sending
precious.
letters.
Yeah, who's Jernigan sending a letter to?
Yeah, Donican.
He's just taking the time to drink a beer. So, with that in mind, what is the next step? Of the options, I'll do my DM thing. I'll give you the options you brought up. You can just go to this tunnel. You don't know who these people are that he mentioned, and you haven't even thought of the idea of just talking to them. he described them like he was describing a dwarven clan. This is in the city. It's unlikely that they are like ghouls or something, or monsters, because it's just a part of the city. Admittedly, in tunnels that have been consecrated, I believe the word is condemned. Kind of the opposite. Tunnels that have been condemned, which I described last time, but still connected to the city. Another option is going to see Fearlock, who is the Lord of Crimson Mountain, to either get equipment or maybe clout. As Donna said, he didn't look like he had much clout anyway. But it might just be a sensible thing to do. You wouldn't really know about how to do that, though, admittedly. I think those are the ideas, essentially. If we assume you're leaving alone here.
We did just save his dad. I'd like to think he'd at least hear us out. But
it's not so much him hearing us out. It's like, where is he right now? There was just an attack on the city. Like, that is the question. This is not... There is not a go here to meet and greet the Lord when the city has been sieged, right? Yeah. I'm sure it would be possible. It doesn't, but it's just that is a point. That's why it would take time.
I think while these guys are scribing, Derm would have just asked, like, the priestesses of this temple, do they have any healing potions or anything? Just to...
Yes.
Oh my god! Yes, thank you.
Because like at least some of them would have overheard what we're being sent to do.
Yeah. If you go, we've been sent on essentially a mission. They would hand you. How generous do I want to be? Let's say 5 healing potions.
Each?
One each and
No.
one.
Dang it!
Well, thanks, Ollie. That's really cool of you. 5 each? Whoa.
5
Right.
regular
Superior,
healing
right?
potions. Regular baby back potions.
All right, so yeah, you said 1 each, and who's taking the extra one?
Who wants to just hold on to the emergency one?
I'll say anyone but me because I have lay on hands as well as a fallback option.
I mean,
Which
I will
essentially
put
works as a
one
potion.
Emergency.
I know. I don't think you should have the emergency because you're like the squishiest, but also the most.
But also the fastest.
True.
That is true.
The alternatives are basically squishy but fast, likely to be in the front line and thus die. Tanky but slow, likely to be in the front line but
Not
less
die.
likely to die. Or there's Vilnora who is squishy but less
And
likely
meek.
to die to the back.
Who you look over and it looks like she's writing a letter to her mother right now. The option, of course, if you put it on like Donna Rivian and like the potions are on her belt. If she's the one that goes down, you can go, I'm going to use the emergency potion.
Mhm.
You know, now we set it up, it's pretty easy to know what you mean, you know.
Yeah,
I think that makes the most sense.
that's fair.
Okay,
I
done.
don't think Vilnora should hold on to the second one.
No. These are little, almost square flasks, glass flasks that have a deep red liquid in it. That
I
smells.
expect some alcohol in there as well.
Yeah.
No, I was trying to work out what it smells like. It would smell like a kind of, some kind of brown liquor. It smells like liquor, and it's in a kind of a liquor flask, but
Like dwarven cognac.
yeah, but just the kind of consistency and the color, the color kind of gives it away. Is I mean. Donna Ruvian and has definitely had healing potions around before, and usually they'd have like the green ones made from fresh forest herbs, purified with mountain spring water, and this is just like red alcohol with healing properties. A little bit more dwarven.
Made by scary blood witches.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we just gonna go walk up to the flame trails and be like, "Yo, let us in your tunnel"?
Doosh, doosh, doosh.
Should we
Yeah.
ask who they?
They might
Should we
all
ask
be
who they are
dead.
first, and maybe I don't know what they would like, or
Ask whomst.
late.
I like the idea that was canon, and you're like leaving. You're like, should we ask? And everyone's like, what? Like, what are you talking
Well,
about?
I'm sure they
Yeah,
like
everyone's just staring.
dead and attacked by the Underrealm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
We could.
I could go if we want to get some background information on them. I could go talk to one of the gem traders because they probably deal with these people. I imagine if they use magic, gems are important for that shit some of the time. Or we could just go cop knock on their door and see what they want.
I think those are the best options, right? You have an intel or a what's it now? Because you're actually usually if I go, you're in Crimson Mountain, it takes a long time to get over here. It's on a hill. You're in the hill, so going down south to where the gem trading initiative would have a little like office nearby the mountain. Where people are coming in. So you could totally go to this little like office area and ask them. It wouldn't be a very long detour.
Yeah, we might as well.
Yeah?
Just because how Copperbeard talked about them, it sounded like they were monsters. Like the flame churls, they will attack you. That's what they sort of sound like.
I think they may all be dead.
In either case,
Does that comfort you?
No.
it's also possible they are undead.
That's worse.
Those from the
Also-
Underdark have been known to practice unsavory magics, as it were.
It's also possible that the Underrealm bastards snuck past them or came an entirely different way.
Would
True.
Belnora know that necromancy would be a thing in the Underdark?
So from the Underdark, without giving the game away, the information you would have been given might have been sugar-coated a little bit. You might not have been told all the bad... there's some bad things that you can't escape. With anywhere, right? So there is a piece of cardboard that looks exactly like my cat. I keep seeing it in the corner of my vision. And I keep going, oh, my cat wants to go outside. No. So, that would be a surprise. You wouldn't have probably heard about that kind of thing.
Yeah, so... No, it's just like, oh, okay. And then continues.
So, you're going through the... like I described... you're going through basically the underground tunnels of Crimson Mountain that lead you places. And describing them as underground tunnels, you might think, no, these are streets. These are streets for dwarves made by dwarves. There are doors that go off to people's houses and offices and things. And they are quite pretty. There is sign of chaos, though, but it seems like in the time that you rested as well, most of the chaos has ended. You occasionally see areas where the city guard wearing their dark kind of bronze uniform of red tabards and things, sweeping up some bodies one way or another, or people having less serious wounds tend to by an old dwarven grandma, because you're kind of getting less to where it attacked. And once you go to slightly more commercial areas, you're going to the kind of factory ring of the city where they have those, here's where the mountain resources come in and then go off to other places. You have to kind of go past a guard checkpoint. You aren't really super questioned or anything. There'd be a couple of check and you'd explain, what's going on. So definitely there is an effort to not make sure that, if there is still problems going on, random commoners don't wander in and get attacked. And I'm describing this very casually. To the dwarves, this would be very casual. But this is a dwarven, fortress city. It's easy to forget that But all of these checkpoints and things would have, you know, like a portcullis down, and you would be talking through it with like a little hatch, and then it would lift it, and it would be, it's pretty secure. You imagine, even though you were not near it, like the second like alarm bell started ringing, the city locked itself up, and pretty effectively too. Sometimes it's easy to forget that in a city as big as Crimson Mountain, but it still has its roots in, you know, being a dwarven stronghold. Anyway, all of that aside, you get to the dwarven gemstone trading initiative, where you're getting to the point where this is still mostly underground, but this building clearly touches the surface and probably has a little entrance at the surface. And also you're getting to the areas where it's so commercial that the underground areas are bigger. You know, this would be like 2 stories, and there'd be like some walkways above, and like you can see the area where they'd move things around, and there's that sort of thing. You would go up and enter and knock and whatnot, and enter this office, and it's quiet. It's entirely reasonable. You've been here before, Sidian. You probably have. It is a fairly attractive looking place for the what this company does is organize, you know, okay, gemstones are coming in from either mines in the mountain, mines way in the mountain, or trade from anywhere else, right? And then which companies they go to and that kind of thing. And it's you know, it's essentially a guild, but I think it's a bit nicer to think of it as a company. Or maybe not nicer, I don't know.
It's a mega corporation.
I don't like everything being guild. It's a bit easy. It's the easy way out in fantasy. This is a bit more of a company that kind of facilitates everything else. So what a lot of the you know, this hall would be little areas where usually there would be an old man like with an eyepiece. I can't remember what you call them, like eyelets, looking at gems and checking their purity of the shipments and things. Right now, it is just a couple of people who are not entirely sure what to do, and the workers kind of sat a little idle. And you can question them. Dwarven merchants and the like who work here. Sidian, what's the questioning? What's the angle of questioning?
Yeah, so pretty much just go in, introductions, all that good stuff. And then essentially what I want to know is, do they have any dealings with the, what are they
Flame
called?
Churls.
Flame Churls. Do they have any dealings with those people?
You go to, there's these 2 dwarves. One's sitting at a desk. The other is kind of standing by the desk. So they're the same height. Both fairly elderly men, but then dwarves start looking old, like the second they come out the womb. Grey hair that's kind of slicked back, and a pretty beard, and like a cloak and all that kind of thing. Actually, no cloak. It's summer. And some. He's currently they're counting like gold and silver, right? And you come up and you show the signet and you explain where you're from, and like, oh, it's literally my job to know who you are. The Flame Trolls, we don't do so much dealing with. They don't do gemstones. You don't know anything about them? We have some knowledge of them.
My companions and I may need to pass through their territory, and I'm simply trying to garner any information I can that could be potentially useful.
Oh, well, we could give you some. You know, all the merchant companies around here help out. They kind of do their own thing. I don't rightly remember what they did before they found their new careers. Some dwarven clans and companies and groups you don't know a nobody. They found something tunneling through the mountain. It's a It's something. They turn it into a powder and it makes these weapons. Have you seen them? The fire powder weapons. They can shoot licks of fire at enemies. It is quite impressive. They have a monopoly on it. They control the mining and the making of the weapons. They control the ammunition. And only this stuff they mine from their haul can be used to make the weapons. So they've grown quite quickly, bringing more people in. And maybe a little bit vagabonds, some of them. They are a little strong-armed in securing their interests. If you're wanting to go through their territory, they wouldn't want you to do that in case you were trying to steal interests and such. But they have merchant connections. Weirdest thing, they mostly trade with humans. But they do! It's got some kind of connection to the human king.
Which one?
There's more than one.
Was more than one.
I assume they die.
It's only rumors, but they don't go for any of these trading companies. They do their own thing. They have their own forge halls, their own trading companies, their own mining. So it's like you're going through their mining.
Mountain dwarves and their mining. Gonna be hell to get through there.
The mountain dwarf you're talking to mops a bald brow. Monogrammed napkin.
Oh, thank you for your time.
Oh wait, do you have any idea how we get past? Will we have to like pay them off or?
Yeah, well,
I
I think a lot of them, this is rumor of course,
could probably get some alcohol for them or something.
Dwarf gives you an incredulous look at the non-dwarf. Goes, when you grow a clan so large, they're bringing a lot of other people in, and a lot of people who are willing to throw their weight around for coin. That's how they've joined up. And the way that they're doing it, they're going, well, you're now one of us, right? And you join up, and you're one of us, and your children will be one of us. So maybe some of them are trying to secure a future for their little
Cadbury's.
for their Björns, but
One of us
gold.
will have to marry one of them.
I will probably help. If one of them is interested in thinner
I'm
folk.
assuming like literally Cadbury's. They build a village around it, and everyone works there, and their families work.
I get your reference. I would be surprised if anyone else got your reference to the like Cadbury chocolate company's way of working. You have to get Zoe's references. Oh damn. But gold can often open many doors. Right?
Then we offer our services.
Like the Mordenac Church say.
They may have a problem, and we're here to be paid to resolve it by going through their tunnels.
That sounds like an awful reasonable argument, miss. But not all businessmen are reasonable. He says, putting
Money,
away
do you
a
think
package
they
of
would
gold
want?
in a drawer. Wow.
So who wants to get married?
They all look at you.
No, it's Sidian. It's definitely Sidian. Sidian.
3 into chat.
Yes.
Not ready. You're gonna get married. You could do it.
I find this very unlikely.
All right.
Don't sell yourself short. Although,
Don't say it. Don't you dare say it.
I think that's the universe telling me that we should take a break.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
let's be back in uno momento.